Welcome to our channel, where we bring the most bone-chilling stories from the depths of Reddit's darkest corners. Join us as we explore the eerie tales that keep you up at night. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications to never miss a spine-tingling story. I've always been a recluse, preferring the quiet company of my books over bustling social gatherings. So, when I received an ornate, handwritten invitation to a weekend retreat at the RIVENHALL mansion, my initial impulse was to decline. But something about its detailed insignia, a raven perched atop a blood-red crescent moon, piqued my curiosity. The sender was an old college friend, Damien, someone I hadn't heard from in years. I remembered him as eccentric, dabbling in obscure studies and ancient rituals. The invitation mentioned a reunion of sorts, an experience that would change our lives. Against better judgment, I packed my bags and headed to RIVENHALL, a gothic monstrosity perched atop a hill, surrounded by a dense, perpetually fog-shrouded forest. The mansion itself looked ancient, with dark, ivy-clad stone walls and turrets that reached for the heavens. As I approached the entrance, the massive oak doors creaked open, revealing Damien. Though only a few years had passed since our last meeting, he looked drastically aged. His hair had streaks of white, and his eyes held a manic gleam. "Ah, you came!" he exclaimed, embracing me. "Tonight, RIVENHALL will come alive in ways you can't imagine." The evening began pleasantly enough. A handful of old acquaintances exchanged stories over a lavish dinner, the fireplace crackling, creating a cocoon of warmth against the cold draft that occasionally swept through the halls. However, as the clock struck midnight, the atmosphere shifted. Damien rose, clinking his glass for attention. "Friends, the moment we've awaited is here," he said, his voice tinged with excitement. "But first, a game, a test of courage." Before I could process his words, servants emerged, placing before each of us a silver chalice filled with a thick, dark liquid. "Drink," Damien urged. "This elixir will open your senses, allowing you to fully experience RIVENHALL's secrets." Hesitation rippled across the room, but one by one, driven either by curiosity or peer pressure, my companions succumbed, draining their cups. I lifted the chalice to my lips, the metallic tang of the liquid making me wince. As I swallowed, a wave of dizziness hit. The room blurred, and the sound of chanting filled the air. The walls of RIVENHALL seemed to pulse and breathe around me, the once sturdy oak and stone now eerily malleable. My senses were heightened. I could hear the flutter of moth wings, the distant howl of a wolf, and the whispered conversations of my companions, their tones ranging from awe to dread. As the chanting grew louder, Damien led us through a hidden door in the dining hall. We descended a spiral stone staircase, its steps slick and wet, into the bowels of RIVENHALL. The air grew colder, the weight of the earth above pressing down. We emerged into a cavernous chamber, its walls adorned with grotesque carvings of rituals and sacrifices. In the center stood a massive obsidian altar, and behind it, a colossal statue of a raven, its eyes gleaming red. Damien motioned for us to gather around the altar. "Tonight," he whispered with reverence, "we pay homage to the Raven God, the true master of RIVENHALL." On the altar lay an assortment of ancient tools, their purposes unclear but undoubtedly sinister. Damien selected a wickedly sharp dagger, its blade etched with symbols. "We each make a sacrifice," he said, his voice echoing. "A blood pact to bind us to this place, to its power." I watched in horror as one by one my companions stepped forward, offering their palms. Damien would slice a shallow cut, allowing their blood to drip onto the altar. With each sacrifice, the chamber's energy intensified, the red eyes of the raven statue glowing brighter. My mind screamed to flee, but my limbs felt paralyzed. When my turn came, Damien approached, his eyes boring into mine. "Embrace the gift," he urged. As the blade pierced my skin, an agonizing jolt shot through me, far more painful than a mere cut should have been. My vision wavered, a cacophony of whispers assaulting my ears. Images flashed, Rituals, sacrifices, and the raven, always the raven, watching over centuries of dark gatherings in this very chamber. When the ceremony concluded, Damien's laughter echoed throughout, triumphant and deranged. "Now," he declared, "we are forever bound to Rivenhall. The Raven God's favor will be ours." But as I looked around, the faces of my companions mirrored my own realization. We hadn't gained favor. We had become prisoners. Whatever force inhabited Rivenhall now claimed us, our blood sealing a pact we never truly understood. The aftermath of the ritual was surreal. I retreated to my assigned bedroom, the weight of the night's events bearing down on me. In the dim light, I examined my hand. The cut strangely vanished. Only a faint, raven-shaped scar remained, a permanent mark of our unholy pact. Sleep eluded me. Whispers, too soft to discern, seeped through the walls. The mansion itself seemed to be communicating, its intentions nefarious. At some point, fatigue overcame fear, and I slipped into a restless slumber. I was jolted awake by a chilling scream. Scrambling from the bed, I raced into the corridor. Other guests had emerged, their faces ashen, eyes wide with terror. The screams continued, leading us to the chamber of a female companion, Lydia. The room was in chaos. Lydia thrashed on the bed, her eyes rolled back, muttering incoherently. Shadowy tendrils snaked around her, originating from the room's very walls and floor. They seemed to be trying to drag her down, absorb her. A group of us fought to free her, pulling and tearing at the dark appendages. But they were impossibly strong, resistant. Just as suddenly as they appeared, the tendrils retreated, leaving Lydia gasping and drenched in sweat. "What is this place?" she sobbed. "We need to leave now!" Damien appeared, flanked by two imposing figures. "Leaving is not an option," he declared coldly. "You sealed your fate the moment you spilled blood on the altar. Rivenhall claims you." Rage boiled within me. "You deceived us, trapped us in this nightmare." He smirked. "I merely facilitated. You chose to partake." The days that followed blurred into a nightmarish loop. By day, Rivenhall seemed almost normal, albeit oppressive. But by night, the horrors unleashed. Whispers grew louder, the mansion's walls coming alive with tormented souls, each ensnared by the Raven God's promise of power. One by one, my companions succumbed to the mansion's will. Some were taken by the shadowy tendrils, absorbed into Rivenhall's very foundation. Others simply vanished, their last moments marked by agonized screams. But a few of us resisted. With each passing day, our determination to break the blood pact grew. We started to explore the mansion, searching for answers, a way to undo the ritual. In the mansion's vast library, amid dusty tomes and ancient scrolls, I found a glimmer of hope. A text detailing Rivenhall's history and the Raven God's origins. The god was once a mortal, a sorcerer who sought eternal life. He bound his soul to Rivenhall, drawing power from the souls it consumed. The text hinted at a potential escape, a counter-ritual that could break the blood pact. But it required an artifact, the heart of the Raven, rumored to be hidden within the mansion's depths. Bound by newfound purpose, Lydia, two other companions, and I formed a plan. We delve into Rivenhall's forbidden chambers, seeking the heart and a chance at freedom. With every step deeper into the bowels of Rivenhall, the air grew colder, the darkness more oppressive. The only sound, apart from our hushed breaths and quiet footsteps, was the faint, sinister whispering that never seemed to cease. Our small group, bound together by desperate hope, comprised of Lydia, who had become my closest ally in this nightmare, Thomas, a historian with an analytical mind, and Eleanor, a brave soul with a fiery determination. We were armed with torches and a rudimentary map we had pieced together from various texts. The heart of the Raven, according to legends, was hidden within a labyrinth, a place designed to confuse and deter seekers. The entrance to the labyrinth was guarded by a massive stone door, adorned with intricate carvings depicting the Raven God's transformation from man to deity. A riddle was inscribed at its center. In life I fly without wings. In death I remain, ever watching. What am I? Thomas pondered briefly. Time, he whispered, and as he spoke the word, the stone door rumbled and began to retract. Inside, The walls of the labyrinth towered over us, constructed of black, glossy stone that seemed to absorb all light. Eleanor took the lead, marking our path with chalk, ensuring we wouldn't tread the same path twice. Hours seemed to pass, with numerous dead ends and circles. Doubt began to creep in. Would we ever find the heart? Or would the labyrinth claim us, adding to Rivenhall's collection of souls? Just as hope seemed to wane, Lydia stumbled upon an alcove, within which stood a pedestal. Atop the pedestal was a crimson gem, pulsating with an eerie light, the heart of the raven. Before we could celebrate, a chilling voice echoed throughout the labyrinth. "Seeking to break our pact, are you?" Damien, now more phantom than man, emerged from the shadows, his form flickering, tethered to Rivenhall. "The heart will bring you no salvation." Eleanor, her courage unwavering, lunged at him with a makeshift dagger, but he merely dissolved, reappearing a few feet away. "Distractions won't deter us," I growled, grabbing the heart. As my skin made contact with the gem, memories surged, centuries of souls sacrificed, all converging into the stone's core. Using the texts as a guide, we began the counter-ritual. Chanting incantations, we circled the heart, each of us pouring a drop of our blood upon it. The ground trembled. Damien's screams reverberated, a cacophony of rage and despair. The walls of the labyrinth began to collapse, the entire foundation of Rivenhall destabilizing. With the heart's power guiding us, we raced through the crumbling maze, dodging falling debris and evading the shadowy tendrils that sought to pull us under. As we emerged from the labyrinth, the first rays of dawn pierced the horizon. Rivenhall, the once imposing mansion, lay in ruins, its dark legacy obliterated. Exhausted, we four survivors looked upon the wreckage, the heart of the raven now dim and lifeless in my hand. Rivenhall's reign of terror had ended, but the scars it inflicted, both seen and unseen, would remain with us forever. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please hit the like button and subscribe, as it means a lot, and hit the bell if you want to stay up to date with the latest scary stories. Don't forget to comment with any stories that you would like for me to do, and I will see you in the next one.